Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so today I wanted to discuss the new 2DS Extra Large. Man, I was excited about it. I had the new 3DS Extra Large, the Monster Hunter Edition, but this thing just blows it out the water. So obviously the box plays all the games, not in 3D though. The screens are bigger, just like the 3DS Extra Large. New ergonomic design, has the NFC for amiibos and the C-Stick. So pretty cool, and I like how they did the box, in a similar style to like the Nintendo Switch. So looking at the new 3DS Extra Large, the Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate Edition, has all the same features essentially listed on the box, other than that it does have the enhanced 3D. And the 3D did work quite a bit better on the new version of the 3DS, but it was just not for many reasons. I just couldn't play the system. The 3D I didn't really use much, but it just did not feel good in my hands. And mine that I have right here is still in pretty pristine condition. It was wrapped with like a skintomi wrap and screen protectors and everything that was actually in another case beside that. So it's like in pristine condition because I never really used it. But now looking at the 2DS versus the 3DS, they're both very similar in shape. There's going to be some minor differences. There's going to be a slight thinness to it, to the new version. But everything else is the same. The buttons are the same. Everything functions essentially the same, but there's just no 3D. And on my 2DS here, I do have tempered glass screen protectors. I'll link those in the description if you decide you want to grab some. But looking at this, it's just the original new 3DS is just so hefty. It was a lot thicker, different placement on a couple things. Here's the stylus for the 3DS Extra Large. So let's compare it to the 2DS version and look at the slot. So we do have the slot right here for the game and the micro SD card, whereas on the 3DS you had to take it apart to get to the micro SD card, which is garbage. But this is the one downside. The stylus is a little smaller. What the heck, Nintendo? Was there not enough room to put the other version in there? I don't know, but I don't typically use the stylus too much, but it is what it is. And then we do have, the power buttons are both in similar spots. We do have our main camera on the top on the 3DS and on the middle hinge on the 2DS. So that's kind of a little different placement on that. And then everything else is pretty similar. We got our lights and whatnot for Wi-Fi and all that. But our speakers are on the bottom of the 2DS versus on the top screen of the 3DS. And we do have the microphone placement in the middle on the 2DS and on the bottom on the 3DS. And then our tracking cameras are on the back on the 2DS Extra Large. So a few minor differences as far as layout goes. But overall, this thing just feels so much better in my hands. They moved everything from the top screen down and removed, the stuff that wasn't needed. So it's a lot lighter. It just feels so much better to hold. Whereas the 3DS, I could barely play it. Like, I don't have baby hands, or weak little infantile, child hands that can't hold something that weighs more than 12 ounces. But it just was so cumbersome and just, it didn't feel good over time. Just didn't feel. But powering this bad boy on, I do want to point out, I called Nintendo before I bought this. I did buy it the day it came out, but I called them to make sure I could do a system transfer, because from what I understood, you couldn't transfer back if you went to the new 3DS, but they told me it was good to go. So as you see here, I have everything transferred over from my original system, which I've had every, not every, different color or anything like that, but I've had every iteration of the hardware. Pretty much, just to be honest, I've had every iteration of Nintendo hardware that has ever came out. So any version of a system, I've bought it. So every 3DS and 2DS, I've had each different one. But taking a look here, just want to boot up the demo for this Hatsune Miku game, which is actually pretty fun. I think I need to buy this game. But I could not play this on the new 3DS Extra Large just because how heavy the system was. This thing just looks so sleek and is so light. Like I didn't look up how much lighter it is, but it is significantly lighter than the 3DS Extra Large, the new version. You could just tell with the hinge on the new 3DS. To me, it always felt like my damn screen's gonna break off. With this one, it's just so light. It's just the screen up there. You don't have the speakers. You don't have the 3D elements and all that built into it. So the top screen is so much lighter and more comfortable to hold, in your hands due to it being lighter. And just the way the trigger buttons on the back feel, everything just feels so much better. This is what the system should have been in the first place. Most people, honestly, I can't speak for everyone, but most people did not use the 3D elements to these. Nintendo's not even really supporting that so much. They just released a handful of new first-party games, and they don't use the 3D. So Nintendo's kind of ditching that. It just doesn't seem like anybody really cared. I thought it kind of was cool in some games, and it made some games actually look better. Monster Hunter 4, for example, looked better in 3D than it did in 2D. The textures, everything just looked sharper for some reason. I don't know the science behind all that, but there were those games that just looked amazing, but you still always had to kind of hold it at a specific angle. It just drove people nuts. Not many people utilized it. The games speak for themselves. Not many cared about the 3D, so this is the future of this handheld. Hopefully, there's going to be more support for the Switch, but I'm happy with my purchase here. I do love the 3DS, but this 2DS Extra Large just kills it for me. I'm back in love with Nintendo's handhelds. I'm actually going to start playing my games again. So I hope you guys appreciated taking a look at this. I'm loving it. Smash that like button if you could. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Boom.